Understanding Reflections, Worksheet 18, question number 11. Question number 11 is going to be worth 5 points. Guys, it's the last one. We're almost done. So hang in there. One last problem to do. It's going to be worth 5 points. Part A will be worth 2 points. 1 point will be to find the ordered pairs for A prime, B prime, and C prime. And then the second point for part A would be to graph it on the coordinate plane on the right. Part B will be worth 2 points. 1 point for finding the ordered pairs A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. And then the second point will be to graph it again on the coordinate on the right. And then part C will be worth 1 point. And yes, I cheated. I already have it all covered up so you can't see it, but we'll get to that later. So the first thing I would like you to do is what I did was I took triangle ABC. A is at 1, -2, B is at 6, -4, and C is at 2, -6. And I wrote those ordered pairs up here right beside where it says part A. So go up to where it says part A and right beside it, pause your video and write down your ordered pairs for A, B, and C. Okay, part A. Part A asks us to draw and label the image triangle A prime, B prime, C prime by reflecting triangle ABC over the y-axis. So we're going to take this figure and we're going to reflect it over the y-axis to get a figure in that area. So a reflection over the y-axis, highlight y-axis here, you should underline it. Reflection over the y-axis means that y stays the same. Remember, whatever axis that you are reflecting it over, that letter is what coordinate stays the same. So we're reflecting it over the y-axis, then the y-coordinate stays the same. And we're going to take the opposite of x. So take the opposite of x, keep y the same. All right, so I'm going to help you with A prime. You'll be on your own for the other two. So looking at A, the x-coordinate is +1. Well, the opposite of +1 is -1. The y-coordinate is -2. We're supposed to keep the y-coordinate the same, so this will stay -2. So my ordered pair for A prime is -1, -2. Okay, so again, we're reflecting it over the y-axis, this axis right here. So your image will go from here over here. So what I would like you to do right now is pause your video, find B prime, C prime, and graph your we'll graph the triangle A prime, B prime, C prime in that third quadrant. Okay, part B. Part B asks us to draw and label the image A double prime, B double prime, C double prime by reflecting triangle A prime, B prime, C prime over the x-axis. Okay, so this is a little different. In like the bell work and problems we've done before, we've taken this original figure and we've reflected it over one axis, and then we've taken it the same figure and reflected it over the other axis. But that's not what we're doing in this problem. For this problem, you're taking the figure that you got here, this triangle that you got, in this area, and you're going to reflect it over the x-axis to get a figure up in this area. So let's find our ordered pairs. So we are doing a reflection over the x-axis. Reflection over the x-axis means x stays the same. So x will stay the same and we'll take the opposite of y. Again, we're using the prime coordinates to find this. So ignore what we wrote up here at the top, and we're going to look at these coordinates right here. So if I look at those there, looking at A prime, I have that x is -1. Well, when reflecting it over the x-axis, that will stay the same. So A double prime will be -1. But reflecting it over the x-axis means I take the opposite of y. So I need to take the opposite of that -2, and the opposite of -2 is +2. So now what you're going to do is you're going to pause your video, and you're going to find B double prime, C double prime, and then again, you're going to be graphing that somewhere up in this area. Please make sure you label both graphs appropriately. The one that is down in the third quadrant needs to have A prime, B prime, C prime. This new graph that I'm doing right here where I circled that has to be A double prime, B double prime, and C double prime. So go ahead, pause your videos, and find B double prime, C double prime, and graph your triangle. Okay, part C. Part C says compare the coordinates of the pre-image with the two images. Describe how the coordinates change when the pre-image is reflected over the y-axis. How do they change when the image is reflected over the x-axis? Okay. Sorry, excuse me. So when we go from A to A prime, it is being reflected over the y-axis. Well, when you reflect something over the y-axis, y stayed the same, and you took the opposite of x. Well, then when we reflected it over the x-axis, the x stayed the same, but you took the opposite of y. The last thing we want to look at, though, is from the very first image, so this up here, to the very last image. So your pre-image to your double prime image. Look what happens there. Look at your x-coordinates. It went from 1 to -1. And your y-coordinate went from -2 to 2. So what happened there? That means both coordinates were opposites. So when you take an image and you reflect it twice, once over each axis, you end up getting the opposite of both coordinates, which is what we're going to write in part C. So for part C, you will need to write over the y-axis, the y-coordinate stays the same, but the x-coordinates are opposites. Over the x-axis, the x-coordinate stays the same, but the y-coordinates are opposites. And from the pre-image, which was triangle ABC, to the last image, triangle A double prime, B double prime, C double prime, both coordinates are opposites. All right, guys, that's it for Understanding Reflections Worksheet 18. If you have any questions, please let me know.